I could say to ChatGPT, and this is how you kind of prompt it 100%. That is essentially a lead magnet.
Ah, I get you. I see how this can be applied now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sphere of Success podcast, where we look at challenge and adversity in business and how we alchemize that to success, to personal development, to business growth, creativity, and innovation. Because most often, when we look back, hindsight is such a great tool, isn't it? That we can actually think of those things which we thought were absolutely doom and gloom. They can tend to be the best things that actually happen to us when we look back and see what they've produced. And today we're going to be talking AI and how we maximize that. So the theme of today's podcast is AI, adaptability and ambition, and how smart tech fuels entrepreneurial success, which I think is something which we can all do a little of. It can seem overwhelming, especially for the smaller business that haven't got a lot of employees that are specializing in this area. And today I have with me the most amazing guy. Actually, he doesn't live too far away from me. We're both in the Northwest. And he is taking the world of AI and how he's maximizing that for his clients, high end business development, getting great clients in for them. And it's all to do with AI and how he's using this for lead generation, high performance websites, and many, many more AI solutions. So, welcome, Oye. It's welcome to have you on the Sphere of Success podcast.
Thank you very much, Deborah. Appreciate the intro. That was a great intro. So thank you so much. And thank you for having me on the podcast. It is an honor to be a guest here and love everything that you guys are doing with the podcast and showcasing business and business solutions to your audience as and the world.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to have you. And I know that we're going to get stuck in and right from the beginning. One of those challenging questions, which I know you'll answer really, really well, is why should we think as entrepreneurs that AI is an ally and not an enemy?
So the reason why we should think that is there's one thing which, or there are a few things which are constant, but one thing which is constant in business especially is technology, right? If we take it back all the way to when everything was horse and carriage, there was a time when I think it was Henry Ford, people said to him, "Oh, we don't want a car, we just want a faster horse," you know. And the thing is, if he'd gone down that route, maybe we wouldn't be having all the cars that we have today, you know. But technology is a constant. It's something that keeps improving, and we're just at a stage now where it's AI, right? There was a stage where it was candles, and people were like, we don't really like this electricity thing, but now here we are with electricity, you know. So with AI in the business world, it is no different. It is here to help us. The thing is, it's how people perceive it. If you've heard it through, oh, AI is coming to steal your jobs, then that might be the lens you're looking at it through. Whereas as another lens, which I look at it through, is going to allow me to be 100 times way more productive and my team 100 times way more productive. So because of that, it starts off with the lens. If you use the lens of, okay, you know what, I'm going to stand in the middle and see, that is probably the better lens as opposed to the it's an enemy. Look at it as an ally because it's going to make you way faster, way more productive, way more knowledgeable on things which you may have had to take weeks to research on, but you can literally get it within the space of 2 seconds with ChatGPT or any of the other LLM. So as a starting point, looking at it as an ally is probably the best thing to do because it's going to allow you so many opportunities.
And I just want to pick up on that point because something really resonated with me just then. I'm not necessarily like you about the whole technology thing. I have a person that helps me with that, and that's fantastic. But what I am doing is I'm using this for the persona profiling that I do. And I'm putting in the prompt, etc. Now, I reckon that because that used to take me a significant amount of time is getting everybody's personas, profiling them, see how I'm going to speak with them, etc. And now, with a few great prompts, in seconds, literally, it comes out with all of that information, which could have taken me hours to do properly. I used to have a spreadsheet, used to put it all in there, etc. And it was pretty clunky. Now I can just print that off. Got it. It's absolutely fantastic. I can copy and paste it and save it. And you know what? It's it's better than I could do.
Yep.
I'm always amazed at the insights that it's bringing out that I wouldn't have thought of. And so that's just one little thing that I'm actually using AI for, that I've now got into this great habit. Each time I'm going to speak with somebody, I personality profile them, and that's for my element. And I know that that's being adopted by the other person, thinking, gosh, she really knows a lot about me. She knows how I think, she knows how I do this. And this isn't manipulation, it's but what I used to take me hours now takes me what, minutes, seconds, really.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Could you just give me some examples of what you use AI for so that people can actually think, you know what? It doesn't have to be rocket science that we have to think about large language models and how we're going to code stuff necessarily. What are those little things that you do throughout the day that really save you that time and give you that competitive advantage?
So I think the best way for me to answer that is to actually explain to people the different strands of AI first. And then
Mm.
I think when you understand the different strands, that's what allows you to then take it to realize, okay, this strand or these combination of strands are actually what's going to work for us. So let's start off with ChatGPT. That's what everyone knows. So ChatGPT, Gemini, those are Claude, those are what I call or what are known as the large language models. So that is, I want to ask you a question, you know the answer, find the answer for me. So that's the LLM strand. Then you have the generative AI, which is you tell it something and it creates it for you. So I want you to help me create this video, or I want you to help me create this image. So that's generative AI. So if you want to create, say, a mural with your logo on it on a backdrop of a building, you can do that with AI, right? Then we now go into the more technical parts, AI agents. That's where you tell it to go and do something for you. Hey, AI, I want you to identify all the companies that have started in the last, I don't know, say 3 months that are in the finance space and they're in fintech and are looking for this particular type of service or can benefit from this type of service. You go out and find it. So the AI agent will then go out, do its thing, come back and give you the results, right? Then you have automation, which is basically I have a problem and I need to combine AI agents and AI tools to create a tool to help me do a thing. So, for instance, like you said, you wanted to understand the profile of a person. You could have a tool where basically you take say, their LinkedIn profile, maybe their YouTube channel, their Instagram, put all those three things in, tell the AI, go ahead, summarize everything that you know about this person, look at the news articles around them, the press, the media, understand what it is they're working on, what they've worked on, and then give me a summary so that if I send them a message, it's not necessarily a cold message, it's more of a warm approach because we've done really good research on them, right? So that is one telling it to do one thing and then it does another thing and another thing and another thing and then automatically creates the result for you. So that is the automation part. Now, for most businesses, the automation part and the knowledge part usually are the parts that are really good for them because that is instant results. A really good example could be this. You have an SOP within your business and you guys do something in a certain way. Rather than everyone coming to the supervisor to get trained or having to sit down and ask them questions, you can essentially have an AI chatbot that has all that knowledge in there. And as they're doing their work, they can ask it, what do we do in this situation? And it automatically tells them, in this scenario, you do this, this, and this. Okay, this problem has come up. Screenshot it, give it to it. It has all the knowledge base of the SOPs. It tells you, here's what we do in this scenario. Boom. So that makes you way more productive, less time on the supervisor, and everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet. And that's just one example.
Brilliant. And so, if you could give us a couple of examples to make this really live for people as to how you use the different strands, as you were saying, of
Yeah,
these AI that you actually bring into your business on a daily basis so that people go, ah, I get you. I see how this can be applied now.
right. So I will give you examples that we use that I hope are universal to everyone. So let's start with the LLM strand, right? I could say to ChatGPT, and this is how you kind of prompt as well. You need to give it a role because ChatGPT or LLMs are really good at assuming a role. So ChatGPT, I want you to act as an expert in, let's think of something, marketing psychology, right? Now, as an expert marketing psychologist, here is what I'm trying to do. So I want you to look at what we're trying to do. Our goal is to make sure that this message resonates with this sort of person. Cool. Here's the message that we have. Look at it and then spin it back into how it would work for that person, this particular target audience. It would then do that, give it to us, and we say, great, excellent. How do we now create this into, say, an image or a video or an ad that we can use for this person? We then take that, give it to it again, and then it creates a detailed prompt for us to then use in one of the image or video generators. So Kling AI, Midjourney, Google's Nano Banana, which is they've just dropped VO3 by Google as well. And I'm sure there are other AI tools in there which I haven't mentioned, but that will then allow us to either have an image which we could use as an ad or a video which we can use as an ad. And then we can just say, right, let's run this onto our ad platforms or onto our organic content and use that. Now, where we can then take it a step further with AI agents in this particular role could be we could say, here is what we have created. We need you to now go and find, say, 30 of our ideal clients, right? Our ideal avatar. Give us the Instagram handles for those type of people who would resonate with this content that we've created. And then we could create that piece of content and tag all of them in it. Or we could DM them and say, hey, we thought this might be really useful for what it is that you do. Here it is on us. Enjoy, right? So that is how we could use it from step one all the way to step three.
I really love that. Now, I was talking to a lady today who is an entrepreneur, and because of doing something for free that she sent out into the market, the press got hold of this, and this was over COVID. She makes beautiful branded biscuits. Her
Nice.
company is amazing. She's just been on a podcast, and it's just been fantastic. And the media picked up on this, and that made actually a 400% increase in her revenue. I mean, it was just incredible. I mean, literally, the business exploded in a couple of weeks. It was amazing. And one of the things that, what's his name? Is it Brunson? Was the guy with ClickFunnels? I can't remember his
Oh,
first name.
Russell Brunson.
Russell, that's it. I want to
Yeah,
call it
Russell
Richard,
Brunson.
but that's somebody. That was Branson, not Brunson. Yeah. So
I've actually got his books here as well, like all of them. Straight up.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah,
So I
he's
am on the
wicked.
right track. When he actually picks the companies that he wants to do business with, especially in the early days before he had the massive following that he's got now,
Yeah.
and he would think what he could do for free for those businesses so that he could get his foot in the door and get known and liked and trusted for
Yes.
actually doing stuff which he wasn't putting charge into. And so, from what you're saying, you can build things out which aren't going to be that expensive using AI and actually then adopt a similar process by putting out content or whatever it might be to your particular audience that you want to do business with for free so that they feel that they're getting superb value from you up front and then it opens doors for a further conversation.
100%. That is essentially a lead magnet, which we can use. In fact, that's a really good example to use. Creating a lead magnet, which is useful to our ideal customers. which is essentially what I was trying to explain, and then giving that to them for them to use is probably one of the best ways for you to get people to essentially raise their hands and say, we're interested in this thing that you've created, or this thing which solves a problem which leads to a bigger problem that we're looking for. And when it comes to creating lead magnets, I have to say this because a lot of people get confused and think, oh, it needs to be something complicated. No, it just needs to solve a problem that then creates a new problem for them to have. And then for them to then think, okay, cool, this new problem has arisen. I got so much value from that last problem. These guys are probably going to be able to solve it because they already talk about solving it. So why don't I just ask them? That's essentially what your lead magnet should do. And using AI to create tools, simple calculators to create these lead magnets, that's a really powerful edge that we use a lot with what we are doing and taking people from not knowing us to knowing, liking, trusting us.
Mm. No, I think that's a beautiful way of doing business. And again, what we're adopting here is a theme I'm getting now with the mindset of entrepreneurs and business people. What kind of mindset really works from the point of view of getting the most out of AI and deploying this mindset to perhaps something that is new and innovative rather than perhaps the old tried and trusted ways, the candle versus the electricity. What kind of mindset are you helping people with to adopt to actually get the best out of this tech?
The mindset that I would want everyone to have is the what if it goes crazy good. That is literally it. What if it goes amazingly? Because more often than not, that is the case. It's unlikely for you to do something with AI and it's going to steer you in the wrong direction. It's unlikely. I would probably say 95% it's going to steer you in the right direction. But if you know what it is that you're doing, you would be able to note or pick up if there's anything wrong with what it's given to you. So that mindset of being inquisitive and thinking, what if this goes amazingly right? Because all you have to do for the most part is, again, say to the AI, whatever it is that you feel you're not sure about. Hey, AI, I need you to act as a content strategist and tell me, here's my business, here's what I do, here's what I'm trying to achieve. Tell me a good way for me to achieve this, or break it down into something that I can do every hour, 1 hour a day for a week to get closer to that point. So say you already work a 9 to 5, or and you're just trying to start your business, or you're at the starting point of your business, you can use that. If you're at a higher level where you're already making the 9 figure range or 7 figure plus range, what you're probably trying to do at that point is to, like I said with Lewis Hamilton, he's already going really fast. He just needs to shave off a few seconds to go even faster. If he shaves off an extra second, he goes even faster, but he's already going fast. So at that level, they're trying to say, right, what can we bring in with AI that's going to make us way better at what it is we're already doing? So that mindset of what if it goes amazingly right is what I would say. Be inquisitive and think of it as, again, as an ally, because that's really what it is. I know there's a Terminator and all of that. We've all watched Terminator growing up and all of that, and there's a AI is going to take over. Maybe, but for now, it's a really great there's really great chasm of opportunity for us to take advantage of within our business. And the one thing which I'll also add is this: creating value now with the use of AI is such a powerful opportunity that allows you to create massive value at a fraction of the cost. Way massive value of the fraction of the cost. Anyone can just decide, hey, I'm in this space. What is a really good tool that I can create for my audience? It will tell you the tool and it can help you create at least 90% of the tool. And then you have something which you can use, which is essentially an MVP, minimal viable product, that you can say, hey, everyone who is in my audience, I've created this thing, go use it and tell me if you like it. How else will you get people to know, like, and trust you on such a big scale than that?
Now, what you're telling me then, this is really interesting, is that smaller businesses can, to some degree, level up the playing field of them and a larger organization if they have that creative mindset. What you're telling me as well is, as I understand it, and be prepared to kick back on me, as that's not a problem, to actually think of what you're saying as the fact that there's a lot that goes into the prompt. And that if you get the prompt right and have the creativity to come up with these great prompts, then what happens is that then comes back is the innovation from the AI to help you solve the issue. I think, and again, I speak for myself, I think one of my issues is that I'm maybe too limited with my thinking with regards to what I'm actually asking AI to do: research, investigate, come up with, create, build, etc. I'm teaching it, pretty basic sort of stuff, but from what you're saying, this can come very sophisticated in what actually you're saying to it in very clear instruction, but that it allows it then to be relatively creative in your particular sector with requirements that you have. Would that be kind of like right in that kind of sphere?
Yes, you're in the right sphere, and I'm even going to take it a step further. And this is going to
Mm.
be great because it's going to help everyone who listens to this, right? Do you use the voice when you do you speak to it using the microphone?
No, I just
Okay.
type it in.
No, no. I'm going to show you a whole better way, right? So you literally go in your chat GPT, switch it up, switch on your phone, load it up, click on the microphone in the bottom right corner, right? And speak into it. So let's say, give me something that you're trying to figure out, and I will come up with the prompt right here and now and show you how you will level up that prompt. Just any problem you're trying to figure out, and we'll do it.
Okay, so it's a business development inquiry that I'm
Okay.
still trying to define our absolute avatar that cannot do without our product. That's what I'm trying to drill down. You know, I mentioned about persona profiling. What I'm trying to do is get that that absolute sweet spot avatar so that we can then replicate that and scale that and really use it as a power advantage in our business. So it's finding that absolute avatar that we want within our business.
Excellent. So now that I understand that, and I don't even understand it as well as you do, here's how I would do it. Hey, chat, I want you to help me to identify the most ideal avatar or ICP for my business. To give you some context, or in fact, before you even begin, I want you to become an amazing elite business development manager. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is I do. I want you to understand everything. And then at the end, give me the most ideal prompt that you need to be able to go ahead and do everything that you need to do to get this right and identify um, the most ideal customer that we should be targeting for our interviews, for our business development, and everything. So, what I do is this: my name is Deborah. I own this company, and we do X, Y, and Z for these sort of people. Understanding this sort of person is what I want you to do. Now I've given you this general consensus, please create a prompt for me that I can use to now dig deeper and research further into that person. And then what ChatGPT will then do is it will take everything I've just said, synthesize it, and give you the best prompt, which you can then copy and paste and give back to it and say, right, here's a prompt, go do your magic.
Whoa. You're hired. That is phenomenal. And it's actually going right down into that granular detail and giving it the prompt to say, you are now the
Yes,
expert in that particular field, and I want you to come up with your own prompt so that I
exactly.
can tell you what to do using your own prompt. That is
Exactly.
so cool. That is brilliant. Thank you. It's I was listening to you there and I'm going, Thank goodness I'm recording this because I'm going to be listening to that over and over and over again. And everybody who wants to listen to this podcast, please do replay, 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 because you think, what did he say? What did he say? I need that. I need that. Oh, that's awesome. That really is so, so good. And
Yeah,
of course, the more you become familiar with this, the more you can do it. So you don't just set it one task, you can set
you
it
could do
so
multiple.
many.
Yeah,
So you can
yeah.
have a whole team working for you flat out 24/7 without a break or holiday or what have you.
It's funny
I
you
love
mentioned that. It's funny you
that.
mentioned that because I do have that. I have a five-star team on on my phone who I ask everything. I've got a billionaire mentor. I have a content strategist. I have a video person. I have a hooks person. I have a YouTube shorts and YouTube long person. So, yep. And they're all on my
Yeah.
phone 24/7, 365. At any moment, I could call them. Oh, I also have an automation person called Echo. So, yeah,
Oh, I
we
love this.
have.
I love this. And for everybody that's watching and listening here, you can do that on your phone. It's just a microphone. It's the cost, perhaps. Would you say that the latest version of ChatGPT is worth getting? I know that there's stuff that you can have for free, there's stuff that you can pay for, etc., just to help people navigate and to get to grips with this without spending lots of money necessarily at the beginning. What would you say to people getting started? Where should they look? What kind of apps should they start to really engage with? You've mentioned the strands, I know, but for
Yeah.
the listeners and followers here, just to give them those handles to say, actually, you know what, I reckon this one's pretty good, or try this one, etc.
Yeah. So what I say to everyone, and I think of it like this, think of the whatever analogy, whether it's football, so you think of the top four teams, or it's companies, think of the top four companies in the world. The thing around AI is one company can have an edge this week, but by next week, everyone else is caught up. So that thing that you had you might have it for, I'd probably say a month max. At the moment, Google Nano Banana is the big thing because they just dropped that new video model. But by the end of the month, I'm pretty sure somebody else will have something that has topped that. So this is one thing I say to people, don't get caught up on which LLM or which AI to go for. Just understand that in those four different strands, all of them will have people who have one thing over another, but that thing will only be it's minimal in the general scheme of things, right? So start off with ChatGPT because that's probably the most popular one that everybody knows. To your question of ChatGPT 5, yes, it is very good. I will always say go for the thinking model as opposed to the default model. So now it gives you three models for you to pick from: fast, default, and thinking. To explain, it used to have O3, which was my favorite because that was a thinking model. It did all the thinking and everything, right? But now they've kind of pushed that. It was O3 and O4 mini, those were the thinking parts, but they've kind of pushed that into one, and then the default, I believe, is 4.0, which is what it used to be on the old one. And then they have the fast, which I think is oh 04 mini fast. I can't remember what it was called back then, but it was one of the minis. So now I would say if you go with the fast and the thinking, if you're paid, that's that's what you need, I would say. The default is still good. I'm just very cautious, or well, I'm very conscious of, I believe the thinking model is still the best model. So if you are on the paid version, just go with the thinking model for most things. It will probably be the best. If you're on the free version, the default is still very good as well. So what it will really come down to is how good is your prompt. And like I said, if you use the example I just gave a few minutes ago, that will help you get to the point. Now, one thing I know a lot of people might think of is, what if I don't know what to tell it to become? I don't know, I don't know what role I need to give it. I would say, ChatGPT, I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z to achieve ABC. I don't actually know what that is. Could you tell me what that is, first of all? And it would say to me, it is da 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 da. It will synthesize and say, this is what you need. Ah, cool. So let's call it the AI Ninja Supervisor. Cool. I would say, ChatGPT, this AI Ninja Supervisor, could you please give it every responsibility that it needs to be the very best in the world, the most elite version, and write that down as a job description and everything, the functions for me. So write it all down. Now I have the AI Ninja. I say, hey, AI Ninja, I've got your prompt. Go do this. Go do some magic. Give it back to ChatGPT. Go do that magic. Become this AI ninja and help me achieve what it is I want you to achieve.
And so I think one of the things that I might be guilty of is giving it too much before it's done the whole thing. You break this up into bite-sized chunks. I've just seen what you're doing. You're giving it one task, it comes up with that, you give it another from what it's given you, etc. I think what I'm trying to do is I'm not waiting for that. I'm saying if you were the thing, then work that out and then do X, Y, and Z, and then do X, Y, and Z. So I think from what you're saying is you've got to let it get you the information, you feed the information back, and then you build it rather than asking it. And once you've got that, do this, and then you do this, and then you do this.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah.
yeah, to an extent, yes, because the problem with, again, I would say 90% of what I've seen when I'm helping people out or coaching or whatever, mentoring, is they don't know what to tell it to do. So
Mm.
first of all, is always, here's the role. You need to figure out what role do you want it to be. Then tell it to be the best in the world in that role. Then say, I want you to be act as an expert XYZ. I want to achieve ABC. Acting as this expert, how do we achieve ABC? ABC could be 5 paragraphs or 5 pages of whatever it is, but you first need to tell it who it needs to become.
Mm.
Once it knows who it needs to become, everything else, it will understand it from that particular lens. So it always starts off with that. And like I said, if you don't know who you need it to be, ask it to tell you who it needs to be. When it tells you, then give it what you're trying to achieve, and then it will be way seamless from there on.
Hey, who knew this was going to turn into a masterclass? Fabulous. I just think this is so cool. I mean, I'm just like, my jaw is on the floor. It's like, oh. And this is why people need to get in touch with you because we have literally just scratched the surface.
Yes.
And, Oye can absolutely take this to the nth degree, whether you're a startup business, a solopreneur, whether you're, as you say, into the 7, 9 multiple figures of revenue, etc., from corporates down to solopreneurs. You can help with everybody in that sense and actually optimize your experience and actually have some fun along the way because this is so cool. I mean, I'm just like, wow, incredible. And you know what? I've never been, since you've been on, I've never been so enthused and inspired about AI before because I know you're technical, but you're really into it and your passion shines through, but you actually talk in a way which I tell you what, if I can understand it, the whole world must be able to understand it because my benchmark is not very high with this. So if I can understand it, then once you've taken that fear away, as we said right from the start, you're thinking, okay, now I can be creative. Now I can actually enjoy this process. And for people who are thinking, oh, it's going to take my job, it's what have you. Well, one of the things I'm thinking of is, it's asking it those really good questions that can really make a difference to your business. And people that can speak to AI and help it to do the job, until they are no longer needed or what have you, just press all these buttons or what have you. But that's something where I can see would be really innovative for people to actually say, you know what, I want to be the person who champions this, who really gets it, and that can actually move with that. Because it's like, you were going back in the day, I'll go a bit further with King Canute and the waves, sitting there on the beach somewhere saying, waves go back. Well, that's not going to happen. They're coming in, come what may. So you saying no, that go off, no.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's just like everything, isn't it? I don't know why we got into like this way back era, but there were things people called wheelwrights and they'd make cartwheels. Well,
Okay.
really, what happened to that industry? Rope makers, you know,
Right.
you don't
Yeah.
have them anymore, so that's it. And you're quite right. It's just as we are in this time of change where it hasn't become the norm.
Yeah.
And back in the day, I'd just go through an anecdote. I was, oh, shut up, let's listen to Io. So I'd be really quick. But my father, this is showing my age now. This is before mobile phone. And because before mobile phone, yeah, I am prehistoric. But my brother, who was an early adopter of everything and got it straight away and loved everything to do with tech. And so he must have been born of other parents because nobody else was like that in my family. And he came back one day with the biggest, clunkiest thing you've ever seen that he dragged out of his car. I mean, it was just enormous and it was a car phone. And it was just like, oh my goodness. And he came to my father and he said, "Look, Dad, look, you don't ever have to lose touch with anybody ever again. Clunking round, this huge thing." And my father turned round to him and he said, "Well, I'm not having one of them letting people know where I am all the time." And now look at us. We're only ever, and this is just, I just reached out my hand. There's my phone. You know,
Just like that.
it's just there. So that's what this is, isn't it? It's just an exciting time, I think, to be able to embrace what's coming on. And yeah, it's like anything in the wrong hands of people with who don't want to do good with it. Well, yeah, horrendous. But
Yeah.
that's the same with most things, isn't it? To be honest. So, that's the whole idea of this thing. If you use it well, it's going to be mind blowing. I reckon they're going to cure cancer. It's just like
Yeah.
fabulous. You can use it for all sorts of good things. Thinking about when you became the founder of your wonderful business, um, could you give any advice to founders starting out now? Let's say, for instance, you're thinking, yeah, I've got this great idea, I want to start a business, etc. How can you help them build the building blocks from day one of getting all the AI in place and making sure that their solutions work and that actually, I reckon you're going to get the billionaire solopreneur soon because I reckon you
Yes.
can,
Yes.
if you can do all of this with what you've just said, amazing. What would you say to people to get the processes right to start with?
So the 2 points I want to answer. I want to answer this point that you touched on, and then I also want to go back to the AI is going to take our jobs point.
Yeah.
So let me let me start off with the how do we set up so that we are basically best foot forward for AI, right?
Hmm.
First of all is the mindset. I think you need to be open to it and be open. If you're open to it, then you're open to technology and you're open to the fact that you can have different opportunities come from different technologies. And when I say that, that means you were open to getting the internet, you were open to getting laptops, because you saw, okay, cool, these things can help the business level up, right? So now when we look at AI, you just need to think, okay, cool, I'm going to put it on my phone. It's not watching me, it's not taking all my data to go sell it. Let's keep that side aside, right? Let's just say it's here to help me. What do we need from those four strands? From the LLM strand, what do we need? Let's go with ChatGPT. From the generative AI strand, we can have ChatGPT again, we can have Midjourney, we can have Higgsfield, and we can have, say, either Google VO3 or Nano Banana, right? From the AI agent strand, ChatGPT is in there again, but I would also say Lindy AI is really good. So is Manus, and so are GenSpark. The automation, I think that is way too technical. And with that part, I would probably say you should probably hire someone to use if you need that part of things, right? So with these three, in fact, just with ChatGPT alone, you can probably do 1,000x more what you thought you were able to do
How
within a
much?
year.
How
A
much?
thousand, 1,000x more,
1,000x.
way more,
Whoa,
way more.
whoa. That's an
And that's
incredible
you
figure.
probably thought you could do that in a year. You could probably do that in maybe 2 months,
Whew,
just by understanding what you need to do with AI.
whoa. And what do you see in the bottom line coming back from that? Because that's extraordinary.
I would say we're probably going to hit a space of us having the first one man billionaire company set up. In fact, just what was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. We had Alex Omozy do 100 mil in 5 days or something like that, right? So we've got to a point, and it was a combination of his skills and AI. It was a mix of the two. So we've got to that point now. You can make 100 mil in a couple of days. It's no longer you have to wait a couple of years. You can actually make it in a couple of days now. So when we hit that point, we now know, okay, cool. We will now get to the point where you can do a business which is just you and AI and maybe one more person as an assistant to create $1 billion company. That is, we are very close to that within the next 2 or 3 years, I would say, right? So that is the upper level of that. That maybe after that will be $1 trillion company, and then whatever comes after trillion, quintillion, I believe. So that is
Whoa,
that.
it's incredible, isn't it? And the fact is, it's not, I mean, how could it, this is just awesome. And if you think about the value that that can create in a community as well, and that you can help young people and you can help older people, because
Yep,
if you know how to work AI, it's kind of age, irrespective of age, isn't it?
yes, it's
So,
universal.
so you could have had your career, you could be an octogenarian billionaire if you can sit there and work out the technology and work that out. And this gives people, let's say, for instance, you've got a pension deficit, and or the fact if the cost of living is so much that your day job is just it ain't cutting it anymore to pay the bills. You can do something which is phenomenal that's
Yep,
gonna be that part-time opportunity, but making serious money. And people can change the world with that, not just their own lifestyles, but that this can be used just an amazing way. Charities, it's
yep,
just the door is open to amazing opportunities for so many people. And if we're then thinking about the global element of this, of leveling up countries
yep,
with economies, etc., that they can do, sort of like a global managed life so that basically they can be doing just as well in places which we consider the developing economies or
yep,
the third world, and they're using generative AI and all of these different strands, and they can pull themselves out of poverty.
yep, yep.
I mean,
That's
that's just got to be brilliant, hasn't it? It's just absolutely phenomenal. So, wow, it's so intense. But you wanted to go back, didn't you? You wanted
yes, I
to go
wanted to go back
back
to
to
that
the
point.
fear factor of losing jobs, etc.
Yes. So the fear factor of losing jobs, it's not an unfounded fear. It's normal. That to me, whenever people say that, I say, yeah, it's normal. That just shows you have a functioning nervous system. Your emotions are working the way they're supposed to, right? So don't don't feel bad about that. It's normal. But here's where you have that chasm of opportunity, which I said earlier. Don't think, oh, AI is coming to take my job. Think to yourself, there used to be a farmer and it was just him, and he was able to till the land, and then he got a tractor and he was able to till more of the land in less time, right? So now the farmers who learned how to use the tractors were the ones who were most sought after because they could do way more in less time. Think about that analogy with your business. You know your business or your job. You've been doing it for however, even if you've only been doing it for 6 months, you have knowledge in that. Take that knowledge. If you go into ChatGPT again, and this is going to be a practical solution. ChatGPT, here's my job, right? I don't want to be replaced by AI in my role. So what I want you to do is here's everything that I do in my role, in my job. I now want you to understand everything that I do and create for me a 5 week program using the internet to teach me AI with only 1 hour a day that will make me at the end of the 5 weeks be as proficient in it as possible, and then tell me how I can bring that back to my employers and show them that I am extremely valuable, right? You do that within 5 weeks, you will now be on a different level because the AI will actually go and find different free courses or different free things that you can read or watch or listen to, create a curriculum for you to actually go through. Within 5 weeks, you will then get to a point where you're super confident now with AI and way more conversant on how to use it. You are now in a position where you are very different from a lot of people within your workforce or even in your industry, which then makes you way more valuable, not just to your employer, but to your industry, because you can go to your competitors and say, hey, guess what? I know this role and I am AI enabled in this role. Which one of you would like to have me? And now it becomes a bidding war. That is the way you need to think of it. And that is a very practical step that anyone can do. And like I just used 5 weeks, you could do 2 weeks. It just depends on the amount of time you have spare that you could do it in a week. You just obviously you're way more intensive, but I think 5 to 6 weeks is a very reasonable time, an hour a day. And it gives you everything for you to follow step by step. And at the end of it, it will tell you, now that you've done this, here's how you become more valuable to your employer. That's it.
Do you know what I'd be doing? Taking my 2 weeks annual leave and going, this is what I'm going to be doing in my 2 weeks annual leave. I remember studying for a financial exam and I took my 2 weeks annual leave to study it. My goodness, because I knew I'd never get any other opportunity like that. And I just remember going, hey, it's a 2 week annual leave out of my life. I'll do it. And you know what? If that's applied and people think, yeah, you know what? Even in the nooks and crannies of the day, at the weekends or after work, etc., in your lunch hour, and there you are getting all of this information so that you can actually then be the, as I say, the AI enabled person
Yeah.
in your field. This is a great game changer for people's careers because that's the differentiator that people are looking for.
Yep.
And fair play. I know some people listen to this, okay, yeah, yeah, sure, absolutely. I love it because, make it your friend. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like anything, isn't it? Even if you're not particularly keen on it, make it your friend anyway, because it's something which we can't be doing without. It's such a tragic tale when we've had it for so long now, because this isn't, how long's AI been going for? Because it's been going much longer than I think I realize.
Yeah, so well, Chat GPT, I was in a business group and the guy who was one of the guest speakers, he had just used it because he was in the level of people who got introduced to it before it became public. And that was November of 2022. And I remember because I went to search for it. I was like, this sounds interesting. And since then, that's why I think I'm very conversant with it because I've been using it since November of 2022 and we're about to get to November of 2025.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You've done your degree course in it. You get that. So it's lovely. Oh, and here we go with me and my tech issues. So there we are, everybody. There we go. That's the I couldn't find it at a better time, could it? Oh my word. I think my little camera's it needs some rest. So,
Right.
oh
No,
my word.
perfect.
I am so enthused and inspired. How can people get hold of you?
So first of all, if you want to do a part two, more than happy to do a part two. This was really great. Everyone can get a hold of me. I am probably most active on Instagram, and then I would say YouTube next, and then LinkedIn. So on Instagram, it is at T's Thoughts. That's TEEZ Thoughts with an S on the end. On YouTube, if you just type in Oyetola, I should come up. On LinkedIn, the exact same thing. You type in Oyetola and it should come up. So that is how people can get a hold of me, slide in the DMs and ask me any questions. A lot of people do, and I try and make sure I get back to everyone as quickly as I possibly can. So feel free to send me a message. I promise I will get back to you.
Oh, this is just brilliant. Thank you. And everybody, this is going to be on the show notes as well. So when you look and you think, oh, I didn't get that, that's okay. Don't worry. Listen to the episode again and you'll get it. That's no problem. But it's also going to be on the show notes so that you can have that forever. And oh, please, if I didn't know you already, I'd be in touch like now.
The one
Because,
other thing, sorry, go
no,
on.
go on. No, you go ahead.
The one other thing I also wanted to say is this. So we're taking the very Google approach where we create free tools for everyone for them to go and use. So I am creating a link on our website, on the main business website. So for everyone who listens to this, they will be able to click on that link, sign up, and it will show them whatever it is we've got going on. Just because not everything is yet out, I don't want to say go to a specific thing, but this will be a central hub, which will tell you, right, once you sign up, here's everything that's currently available. Enjoy. So that will be the website, cubsolutionsgroup.com/Deborah. So
Oh, wow,
cubsolutionsgroup.com
that's
forward
great.
slash
And
Deborah.
let's do that nice and slow. So this is Cobb, C-O-B.
Yes, so COB solutions
Yep,
with an S on the end, group.com/Deborah, Debra.
D-E-B-R-A. That's the way I spell my name. So that's brilliant. Thank you. So Cobb's Solutions Group.com/Deborah.
That's the one.
Brilliant. Thank you. Oh, what a wonderful episode we've had today. I've just enjoyed every single minute of this. I've learned so much. I mean, in value terms, this is just amazing that we can give this to our listeners and to our viewers. So thank you, Aya. It's been an absolute privilege to have you on the Sphere of Being podcast.
And it's been a pleasure to be here actually as a guest. And yeah, so thank you very much for having me, Deborah.
Oh, it's
And
fine. Oh, and now I've gone ghost. I just love this. I just love it. Everybody, the beauty of technology, isn't it fantastic? Everybody must be leaping on the internet at the moment because that's when it normally goes down. So without further ado, I've lost again. So we've probably got sound again. But thank you so much for listening, everybody. Sorry about the camera, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Take care. Be successful. Bye now.
Thanks for having.